Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today's beer review of this Castle Rock West Coast SIPA is part of a larger video in the Tipsy Wiki series where I go on a deep dive in Wikipedia whilst getting a little tipsy on a good beer of my choice and giving you a review of that beer along the way. So if you want to see the whole video, click up there. Otherwise, stay tuned for just the beer review parts coming up right now. This one is a West Coast SIPA, or SIPA, or Session IPA, I'm guessing. To be honest, I don't really know, but that's what it says on the tin. Let's take a look at this beer. So, it is from Castle Rock, a local brewery to myself here in Nottingham. West Coast SIPA, SIPA, with Centennial, Chinook and Simcoe hops. Here is a look at the can. I don't want to read too much off the back before I get into it, but I did just spy that it is 4.2%, so I'm pretty confident that that is a Session IPA. Let's get this open. Nice, almost amber beer, that one, fairly dark. I've just got a real hit of tropical fruits from the aroma already at a distance, which is making me very excited to get into this, to be honest. Nice, thick, medium bubbled white head, super clear, loads of clarity on that. It looks very appetizing indeed, right. Oh, so much. That's proper mango territory, that one. That is really mango-y. There's a touch of sour bitterness kind of in the back of it, but kind of a touch of that grapefruit style, but it's really subtle. This one is mainly packing serious fruit punch with mango and just a touch of pineapple, as so many of these styles tend to be. One or two little piney grassy notes in there, but overall it really does smell as sweet as you like. So, cheers. Okay, this is interesting. This is a bit different to the previous Castle Rock one that I did. It's very similar though to a couple of other beer reviews I've done this week. I'm pretty sure they'll all be out by the time that this one goes, but it's got some similarities. One of those beers I really liked, and one of them I really did not. But this one at the minute is very much leaning towards the side that I like, if I'm honest. It's got, I'll just run you through all the tasting notes from start to finish. So it's got a bit of initial bitterness, and then kind of the mid strokes are just very drying on the tongue. Not hyper, they just a bit, so kind of a bit of an overall drying sensation. And then the end is a playful, fruity explosion, mainly mango, as I said, for the aroma. That is very kind of true to form for the aroma through to the taste for that end bit. And then there's a bit of that kind of green, grassy malt lingering aftertaste that, to be honest, I'm not that keen on, but the rest of it is so well put together, I'm kind of happy to forego that bit at the end for the rest of it. So, before we deep dive any further, I think it's time to come back to the beer. So, have the aromas changed at all? They've just flattened off. It's still very much the same, just much more subtle now. It's been sat still for a bit. The first sip, the kind of enjoyable finish had disappeared a bit, and then there was a lot of that drying kind of tartness at the end that I wasn't that keen on, but more amplified, which is a bit disappointing. Second sip though, it's coming back around. I think the key with this one is not to let it sit for too long. Very good. Right, let's take a look at the can. It says West Coast SIPA, West Coast Pale with a flurry of hoppy flavours, pine, zesty citrus and tropical fruit. Assertive bitterness is balanced by biscuity malt bill and caramel notes. I'll be honest, I'm not really getting the biscuity malt bill and caramel notes. Not really, no. Sorry, I don't really agree with that one. I can understand what they're trying to portray there, but it's not really that obvious, at least to me. Maybe it's that characteristic that stops me disliking this as much as some that I tried earlier in the week that doesn't have that biscuity malt part, but ultimately that's not what I'm tasting. It's 4.2%, vegan friendly, 1.9 UK units. The ingredients are malted barley, wheat, oats, hops, yeast and water, particularly in there. So all that flavour is coming out of the hops, which is pretty damn impressive actually. And as before, brewed and canned at Attic Brew Co, Sturchley, Birmingham. So, Interesting. We will take another sip, jump back in, and we'll come back in a few minutes and see how this is getting on. Before we find our way out of internet trolls, back to the beer for a second. This one isn't really changing at all. A quick swill around the glass and those sweet fruity aromas are back in business. And the flavours, to be honest, also very much the same. Let's see if we can pick out anything else in here. It's still bitter front of the tongue, instant drying, big fruity explosion, and then a bit of bitterness, which, yeah, that aftertaste isn't brilliant, but I guess it'll keep you coming back for another sip to get rid of the aftertaste, so quite a good beer in that respect. It's an easy drinker. I don't hate it. I preferred the last one, if I'm honest. That was their Vermont IPA. It was just a little bit, I don't know, it had less of those sharp finishing notes. And it was a little stronger actually, but it's not bad. It's not bad at all. Right. So, final thought on the beer. I like this one. I'm not mad for it, but if I see this on tap somewhere, I'm not going to ignore it. Now it's been sat out for a little bit longer, some of that bitterness I feel is waning a bit and the sweetness is really starting to pop through. The pine bit starting to emerge even more, especially in the taste, and I'm not really getting any of those biscuity malt things. Maybe it's just because for me, I prefer malty biscuit style beer, and maybe this is just being overridden so much by the hops for me that I just can't do it, but it's a good one anyway. As always, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like it if you haven't already. Subscribe if you will be so kind, and we'll catch you next time. Cheers.